Every problem you encounter in life is not just a random inconvenience or an unfortunate circumstance. It is a carefully designed opportunity meant to awaken something within you, to test the depth of your resilience, and to shape the person you are becoming. Most people tend to view problems as obstacles, as interruptions in their progress, as unfair burdens that life has imposed upon them. But this perspective keeps them trapped in a cycle of complaining, blaming, and victimhood. Problems, when seen through the lens of personal growth and self-mastery, are in fact powerful teachers. They are the raw material from which strength, wisdom, and character are forged. When you begin to internalize this truth, the way you respond to difficulties in your life changes completely. You stop running to others to validate your suffering or to seek pity, and you start turning inward to find the lessons that are hidden beneath the surface of every challenge. Problems reveal what you are truly capable of. They expose the gaps in your knowledge, skills, and emotional control, and they force you to confront the parts of yourself that you may have been neglecting or avoiding. The moment you view a problem as a personal opportunity, you shift from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance. You begin to see that every difficulty carries within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit, a solution that is waiting for you to uncover, and a chance to grow beyond the limitations that have held you back. This is not mere optimism or wishful thinking. It is a disciplined, deliberate way of interacting with life. It is the understanding that the universe, in its infinite intelligence, presents challenges not to punish you, but to propel you forward, to stretch your capacity, and to expand your awareness. When you face a problem privately, without broadcasting it to others, you engage more deeply with your own inner resources. You are forced to rely on your creativity, intelligence, your perseverance, and your faith in yourself to find a way through. You begin to trust that within you lies everything you need to navigate any storm, to solve any puzzle, to overcome any difficulty. Problems also have a refining effect on your character. Just as pressure turns coal into diamonds, adversity shapes you into a person of greater value, resilience, and integrity. The more you practice facing your problems alone, the more you cultivate patience, self-discipline, and emotional control. You start to understand that external validation is temporary and often unreliable, whereas the confidence and clarity you develop by confronting challenges directly within yourself are permanent and self-sustaining. When you tell people your problems, you inadvertently hand over your power. You invite their opinions, judgments, and emotional reactions into your sphere, and this can cloud your own thinking and weaken your ability to act decisively. Keeping your problems private does not mean ignoring them or pretending they do not exist. It means approaching them with intention, focus, and strategic thinking. It means treating each problem as a personal laboratory for learning, a place where you can experiment, adapt, and discover new strengths you did not know you had. Problems also serve as mirrors, reflecting back to you areas of your life that require attention, adjustment, or realignment. They show you where your boundaries are too weak, where your habits are misaligned, and where your mindset needs recalibration. By keeping your engagement with problems private, you allow yourself the freedom to explore these insights without external pressure, distraction, or unsolicited advice. You can make mistakes, course correct, and refine your approach in a safe mental space. Every problem you encounter is also a test of your vision, your commitment to your goals, and your capacity to maintain faith in yourself. When you internalize the challenge and work through it quietly, you strengthen your ability to persevere under pressure, to remain focused when circumstances seem overwhelming, and to maintain clarity in the midst of confusion. You learn that problems are not there to define you or limit you, but to elevate you and transform you into a more capable, self-reliant, and empowered individual. This mindset creates a shift from reaction to mastery, from fear to courage, and from dependence on others to reliance on your own inner strength. As you face each problem privately and intentionally, you develop a unique relationship with adversity, one that is intimate, insightful, and profoundly empowering. You come to understand that the value of a problem lies not in its difficulty, but in the growth it catalyzes, in the strength it uncovers, and in the wisdom it imparts. And by embracing this perspective, you transform every challenge into a stepping stone toward your highest potential. Energy is the invisible currency of life. And every thought, word, and emotion carries a vibration that affects not only your own reality, but the reality of those around you. When you speak your problems aloud, you are projecting negative energy into your environment, and whether you realize it or not, this energy has a profound impact on your mindset, your actions, and even the way people respond to you. Most people underestimate how contagious emotions can be. Joy, enthusiasm, confidence, and gratitude lift the collective energy of a room, but frustration, worry, and complaint weigh heavily on everyone they touch. When you vocalize your struggles, you are unintentionally spreading tension and doubt, not only to those who listen, but back to yourself, reinforcing the very obstacles you are trying to overcome. Protecting your energy is not about being secretive for the sake of secrecy. It is about recognizing the value of your mental and emotional state and understanding that your words shape your internal and external reality. Every conversation you have is a transfer of energy. When you focus on your problems with others, you anchor yourself in a space of limitation and negativity. And the universe responds to the vibration you emit. By keeping your struggles private, you maintain control over your own energy field. You create a space where your thoughts can incubate, where solutions can emerge, and where your emotional resilience can grow undisturbed by external influence. Energy, once released in the form of complaints or worry, is difficult to reclaim. People may listen with empathy or offer advice, but the act of sharing a problem often amplifies it rather than diminishes it. This is because attention feeds energy. And the more you dwell on the negative aspect of a situation, the stronger it becomes in your consciousness. By consciously choosing to focus on solutions, gratitude, and personal growth instead of publicly airing your difficulties, you redirect energy toward constructive action. Keeping your challenges to yourself does not mean bottling up emotions. It means processing them internally, transforming them into insights, and channeling them into decisive, empowered action. There is also a psychological aspect to this practice. When you speak your problems, you create a mental loop where your mind keeps returning to the issue, reinforcing worry and limiting creativity. When you handle challenges privately, you disrupt this loop. You allow your mind to work in a problem-solving mode rather than a complaining mode. Your energy becomes a tool for innovation and progress rather than a magnet for stagnation and fear. Moreover, sharing problems openly can sometimes invite energy that is not aligned with your highest good. People may unintentionally project their own doubts, fears, or judgments onto you, and this external energy can cloud your judgment, reduce your clarity, and delay your solution. When you manage your problems privately, you filter out these misaligned energies and maintain the purity of your focus. Energy is cumulative. Each problem you encounter, if not handled carefully, can drain your vitality, decrease your motivation, and even impact your health. By conserving your energy and choosing carefully where and how you invest it, you strengthen your capacity to navigate challenges without being derailed by negativity. This is why the practice of maintaining personal boundaries around your struggles is essential. You are the gatekeeper of your own vibration. You decide what energy enters your consciousness and what you project outward. By keeping problems private, you safeguard your creative power, your emotional stability, and your ability to attract solutions. In addition, when you refrain from broadcasting difficulties, you cultivate a mental discipline that trains your focus on growth rather than limitation. Your energy is spent on seeking answers, taking action, and developing resilience instead of being dissipated in unproductive conversation. The more you internalize this approach, the more your energy aligns with your intentions, your goals, and your personal vision. You begin to realize that every word spoken carries weight, every expression of negativity affects your trajectory, and every problem kept private becomes a laboratory for self-mastery. You learn to engage with challenges strategically, channeling your mental and emotional resources toward outcomes that elevate rather than diminish your life. Over time, this practice transforms not only the way you experience problems, but the way you navigate the world entirely, creating an environment where your energy supports your growth, your actions are intentional, and your vibration attracts opportunities rather than obstacles. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality, and the law of attraction operates continuously, responding not to what you wish for superficially, but to the dominant vibration you emit through your beliefs, words, and focus. Every time you verbalize a problem, you are training your mind to dwell on limitation scarcity and lack. The moment you fixate on a difficulty, you give it a form in your consciousness, and the universe, which reflects back what you consistently think and feel, responds in kind by presenting more circumstances that reinforce that vibration. The law of attraction is impartial. It does not judge whether your problem is justified or whether it is small or large. It simply manifests what you hold in your mind with clarity and intensity. This is why constantly verbalizing problems to others can become a trap. You inadvertently strengthen the very situation you wish to escape. When you focus on problems aloud, you engage in a form of energetic broadcasting that attracts people, situations, and further difficulties that resonate with the same frequency. In contrast, when you maintain your challenges privately, you preserve the subtle, powerful mental energy necessary to attract solutions and opportunities. By redirecting your attention away from external validation and toward internal problem solving, you align yourself with the creative forces that shape reality. The act of keeping problems private encourages mental discipline. You become more conscious of what you think, say, and focus on understanding that your inner dialogue is far more influential than any external conversation. Thoughts and words that express fear, doubt, or frustration plant seeds in your subconscious. And these seeds eventually grow into habits, behaviors, and realities. By reframing your focus toward solutions, possibilities, and your desired outcomes, you program your mind to operate from a frequency of abundance, confidence, and clarity. People who habitually share their struggles often remain trapped in cycles of negativity because they continuously reinforce the mental patterns that created the problems in the first place. The law of attraction does not separate your inner world from your outer world. It mirrors it. Therefore, the energy you emit through conversations about problems becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Every time you keep a problem private and instead focus on solutions, gratitude, or action, you are consciously choosing a different vibration. You are planting seeds for positive manifestations, reinforcing neural pathways that encourage creativity, resilience, and innovation. This practice also cultivates patience and faith. By not rushing to share your difficulties with others, you develop trust in the process of life and in your ability to navigate challenges. You begin to see that answers often arise when the mind is calm, focused, and aligned, rather than scattered and distracted by the opinions or reactions of others. Furthermore, keeping problems private allows you to interact with your subconscious mind more directly. Your subconscious is a powerful problem-solving engine capable of producing insights and solutions beyond your conscious reasoning. When you repeatedly externalize difficulties, you bypass this internal process, losing the chance to access deeper wisdom. By protecting your inner focus, you allow your subconscious to work uninterrupted, connecting dots and generating strategies that you may not have consciously considered. The law of attraction rewards clarity, focus, and consistency. Every word spoken is a signal. Every thought emitted is a frequency, and every emotional reaction adds weight to the vibration you broadcast. Problems kept private do not disappear magically, but they are approached with intention, thoughtfulness, and strategic energy. This alignment of mental, emotional, and energetic focus increases the likelihood that solutions will manifest in alignment with your highest good. You begin to notice opportunities that others miss, creative solutions that appear from unexpected directions, and a growing sense of control over circumstances that once felt chaotic. The discipline of keeping problems private transforms your relationship with life itself. You stop expecting validation, sympathy, or direction from external sources and start relying on your own clarity, focus, and alignment. Your energy is no longer diluted by unnecessary conversations. It is concentrated, intentional, and magnetic. This is the essence of working with the law of attraction effectively, not just wishing for outcomes, but consciously directing your inner focus, your mental energy, and your emotional vibration toward the life you intend to create. The practice of internalizing challenges, managing your thoughts, and protecting your mental energy elevates your life beyond the reactive, problem-centered existence that most people live, and positions you on a path where your focus consistently attracts solutions, growth, and opportunities that are in perfect harmony with your highest potential. Self-reliance is one of the most powerful qualities a person can develop because it is the foundation upon which resilience, confidence, and true personal power are built. When you face challenges and difficulties alone, without immediately turning to others for validation, advice, or assistance, You cultivate a profound sense of inner strength. The habit of relying on your own resources teaches you that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. That the solutions you seek are not outside of you, but within you, waiting to be discovered through patience, reflection, and deliberate action. Most people have been conditioned to look externally for answers, to seek reassurance from friends, family, or colleagues, and to measure their success by how others perceive them. This external reliance can create dependency, dilute personal growth, and prevent the development of the mental and emotional discipline required to navigate life effectively. By confronting your problems privately, you force yourself to explore your own capacity for problem solving, creativity, and emotional regulation. You begin to see that the mind is a remarkably powerful tool when focused, disciplined, and unencumbered by the need for approval. Self-reliance does not mean isolation. It means that your primary source of guidance, confidence, and strength comes from within, and that you are responsible for your own outcomes. This mindset shifts your perspective from victimhood to empowerment. Challenges are no longer seen as threats to be complained about, but as opportunities to exercise judgment, perseverance, and ingenuity. Every difficulty you tackle on your own becomes a training ground for building the habits, skills, and attitudes that define personal mastery. When you rely on yourself, you develop problem-solving abilities that are not dependent on circumstance or external opinion. You learn to analyze situations objectively, weigh options carefully, and take decisive action without hesitation. You cultivate patience, understanding that solutions often emerge over time, and that impulsive reliance on others can lead to temporary relief, but not lasting resolution. The discipline of self-reliance also strengthens character. It teaches humility, persistence, and resilience. You come to understand that setbacks are not permanent, that mistakes are part of the learning process, and that your capacity to overcome is limited only by your willingness to engage with challenges directly. Each problem handled privately reinforces the idea that your mind is a laboratory. Your actions are experiments, and your persistence determines results. Moreover, self-reliance fosters confidence. The more you navigate difficulties independently, the more you trust your judgment, intuition, and decision-making abilities. Confidence is not built through external validation, but through repeated experience of facing uncertainty, making choices, and observing the outcomes of those choices. When you consistently rely on your inner resources, you develop a sense of calm, control, and clarity that cannot be shaken by external circumstances or the opinions of others. Facing problems privately also encourages personal accountability. You stop blaming external factors for your challenges and begin to see that every outcome is, at least in part, the result of your own choices, actions, and mindset. This accountability fuels growth because it compels you to learn from mistakes, refine strategies, and adapt to changing circumstances. In the process, you develop an empowered mindset where obstacles are reframed as opportunities for learning, growth, and refinement rather than burdens to lament or external problems to assign blame for. Self-reliance teaches patience, discipline, and emotional control. You learn to regulate your thoughts and feelings to prevent fear, frustration, or anxiety from dictating actions, and to maintain a steady focus on the solutions and outcomes you desire. It develops an internal compass that guides you through uncertainty and complexity, a compass that is far more reliable than the often inconsistent guidance of external voices. Furthermore, the habit of facing problems privately and relying on yourself naturally builds resilience. Each challenge you overcome strengthens your capacity to handle the next, creating a compounding effect that continuously elevates your personal power. You begin to see that the human spirit is far stronger than circumstances suggest, and that true growth comes not from avoiding difficulty, but from engaging it head-on with courage, discipline, and self-trust. This is why self-reliance is not just a skill, but a lifestyle, a way of interacting with the world that empowers you to move confidently, decisively, and independently. By cultivating this inner strength, you position yourself to face challenges with clarity, grace, and determination, knowing that no problem is too great. When you have the capacity to trust yourself, think critically, and take deliberate action, and this approach transforms every difficulty into a catalyst for personal mastery, growth, and unshakable confidence. The way we speak about our circumstances shapes not only our own mindset, but also the trajectory of our lives. And this is why speaking only solutions instead of problems is a transformative practice that separates those who are successful from those who remain trapped in cycles of complaint and limitation. Language is not merely a form of communication. It is a powerful tool that programs the mind, shapes perception, and influences the actions we take. When you verbalize a problem repeatedly, you reinforce the reality of that problem in your consciousness. Your words act as commands to your subconscious mind, instructing it to focus on difficulty rather than opportunity, on limitation rather than possibility. The moment you shift your language to be solution-oriented, you alter your mental programming. You are no longer broadcasting weakness or despair, but rather clarity, intention, and empowerment. Speaking only solutions trains your mind to look beyond obstacles, to identify opportunities where others see only challenges, and to harness creativity and resourcefulness in pursuit of outcomes that align with your highest goals. It is a discipline that requires awareness, practice, and a deliberate commitment to excellence in thought and expression. The act of focusing on solutions encourages problem solving at a much deeper level. Rather than allowing your mind to dwell on fear, frustration, or uncertainty, you channel your energy toward identifying actionable steps, generating alternatives, and envisioning positive outcomes. Every problem you reframe in terms of solutions strengthens your ability to navigate complexity, adapt to change, and approach life with clarity and purpose. This approach also influences the energy you emit to the world. When your words are solution-focused, you inspire confidence, hope, and optimism not only within yourself, but also in those around you. People are naturally drawn to individuals who speak with clarity, conviction, and possibility. And by training yourself to communicate in this manner, you attract support, opportunities, and resources aligned with your goals. Conversely, dwelling on problems aloud often repels opportunity and drains personal energy, creating an environment where negativity is reinforced and progress is stalled. The practice of speaking only solutions also cultivates mental resilience. You learn to confront obstacles with the understanding that every challenge has a potential resolution, that every difficulty carries within it the seeds of opportunity, and that your response to circumstances is more powerful than the circumstances themselves. This mindset transforms fear into action, doubt into strategy, and setbacks into learning experiences. Solution-oriented language reshapes your relationship with failure. Rather than seeing mistakes as evidence of inadequacy, you view them as feedback, information that guides your next step and a necessary part of the process toward mastery and achievement. By framing problems in terms of solutions, you engage your mind in constructive thinking, generating innovative ideas, alternative approaches, and adaptive strategies that move you closer to your desired outcomes. It also strengthens emotional intelligence, teaching you to regulate reactions, manage frustration, and maintain focus under pressure. Every time you practice speaking solutions, you reinforce neural pathways associated with creativity, problem solving, and proactive thinking. Over time, this rewiring of the brain enhances your capacity to act decisively, navigate uncertainty with confidence, and consistently produce results that align with your intentions. Speaking solutions requires courage and intentionality because it demands that you rise above the immediate temptation to complain, justify, or vent. It forces you to take ownership of your circumstances, to recognize that your words have power, and to wield that power deliberately in service of your goals. This practice is not only about the words themselves, but about the state of mind they reflect. When you commit to speaking solutions, you commit to a mindset of empowerment, resourcefulness, and relentless pursuit of progress. Furthermore, focusing on solutions strengthens leadership and influence. People are drawn to those who model problem solving, who demonstrate calm clarity in the face of difficulty, and who communicate with purpose and vision. By cultivating this habit, you become a source of guidance, inspiration, and stability, not only for yourself, but for the networks and communities you are part of. The discipline of speaking only solutions also aligns with the universal principle that energy flows where attention goes. By concentrating on possibilities, actions, and outcomes, you direct your energy toward creation rather than stagnation, toward movement rather than complaint, and toward growth rather than limitation. This alignment amplifies your capacity to manifest results, attract opportunity, and maintain a focused, resilient mindset that consistently overcomes obstacles and transforms challenges into stepping stones. And through this practice, you develop a life in which every difficulty is met with clarity, every obstacle is approached strategically, and every problem becomes an opportunity for innovation, growth, and the expression of your highest potential. Not everyone in your life has your best interest at heart. And this is a reality that many people struggle to accept because we naturally assume that those around us are allies, supporters, and well-wishers. However, the truth is that sharing your personal struggles indiscriminately can expose you to judgment, criticism, doubt, or even subtle forms of sabotage. And understanding this dynamic is essential for maintaining control over your life, your energy, and your progress. Guarding your mind is the first step toward guarding your life, because the thoughts and ideas you allow into your consciousness directly influence your decisions, your actions, and ultimately the trajectory of your life. When you openly reveal your problems, you create opportunities for external influence to affect your emotional state, cloud your judgment, and disrupt your focus. Not all advice is wise, not all opinions are constructive, and not all empathy is genuine. By keeping your challenges private, you maintain sovereignty over your thoughts, allowing your mind to process difficulties without interference, distraction, or contamination from external negativity. This practice is not about distrust or isolation. It is about discernment, understanding that some things are meant to be resolved internally through reflection, strategy, and intentional action, rather than through external validation or commentary. Every problem shared publicly carries the risk of becoming distorted through the perceptions, biases, and fears of others. Even well-meaning individuals may unintentionally project their own limitations or concerns onto your situation, thereby influencing your mindset in subtle but powerful ways. When you guard your mind and keep your challenges private, you protect yourself from this misalignment and preserve the clarity required to navigate complex situations. The mind is a highly sensitive instrument capable of generating insight, creativity, and solutions when it is focused and undisturbed. By controlling the input it receives and minimizing unnecessary external noise, you create the optimal conditions for problem solving, innovation, and strategic thinking. Maintaining privacy around your struggles also cultivates mental resilience. You learn to rely on your inner resources, to trust your intuition, and to develop a disciplined approach to challenges that is not swayed by the opinions or emotional reactions of others. Over time, this practice strengthens your capacity to remain calm, focused, and decisive in the face of adversity, creating a stable foundation for personal growth and achievement. Guarding your mind extends to protecting your emotional energy as well. Problems shared openly often attract sympathetic responses, but these responses, while seemingly supportive, can sometimes reinforce feelings of fear, doubt, or inadequacy. By handling difficulties privately, you minimize exposure to energy that does not serve your highest good, ensuring that your emotional state remains aligned with solutions, confidence, and proactive action. Furthermore, keeping challenges private fosters accountability and self-discipline. You recognize that your growth, success, and well-being are primarily your responsibility, and you develop the habit of seeking answers within yourself, rather than relying on external guidance that may be inconsistent or misaligned. This accountability reinforces self-trust and cultivates a sense of personal mastery, enabling you to navigate complex situations with clarity and confidence. Guarding your mind also teaches strategic communication. By choosing carefully what you share and with whom, you ensure that your words are not misinterpreted, used against you, or diluted in a sea of irrelevant commentary. You learn to evaluate the intentions, reliability, and alignment of those around you, and to share information selectively in ways that support your objectives, strengthen alliances, and protect your vision. In addition, keeping problems private allows for deep introspection and reflection. The mind, when undistracted by external reactions, has the space to explore alternatives, consider long-term consequences, and generate creative solutions. Many of the most profound insights come from quiet contemplation, from wrestling with challenges internally, and from listening to the subtle guidance of intuition and higher reasoning. By protecting your mental space, you amplify this inner guidance and create a powerful feedback loop where clarity, focus, and insight continually reinforce one another. Ultimately, Guarding your mind and keeping your struggles private is about preserving power. Every problem you broadcast unnecessarily is a potential drain on your mental, emotional, and spiritual resources. By maintaining privacy, you retain control over your thoughts, energy, and focus, channeling them toward constructive action, solutions, and personal growth. You begin to see that your life is shaped less by the circumstances you face and more by how you engage with them internally, and that every problem handled privately, every thought protected from external interference, and every challenge navigated with self-trust strengthens your capacity to create the life you intend and maintain the clarity, focus, and empowerment necessary to manifest your highest potential.